WSAV continues to honor Black history this morning as we take you back to a small unincorporated community in McIntosh County known as Harris Neck. For more than 80 years, it was home to a prosperous, self-sufficient, close-knit town of more than 75 Black families, direct descendants of formerly enslaved West Africans who remained on the Sea Islands after the Civil War. But everything changed in the summer of 1942. During World War II, the federal government, through eminent domain, forcibly seized Harris Neck, more than 2,600 acres, to build an Army airfield. Residents were promised the land would be returned to them after the war, but it never was. While the fight for Harris Neck continues, a new perspective of preservation is emerging through artwork. This morning, Kim Gusby has the story of a young woman who's using the soil of her ancestors to educate the masses.
Right there are the oyster cages, and those are for oyster farming.
25-year-old Maya Timmons is proud of her Gullah Geechee ancestry. A descendant of formerly enslaved Africans who once called Harris Neck home, Maya is the great-granddaughter of William Timmons, founder of Timmons Oyster Company, a family business established in the early 1900s that once sat on 300 acres of land.
He had the oyster factory, and then after 1942, when the diaspora happened, when they came in, the government came in through, took the land through eminent domain. After then, my granddad, we call him Granddaddy Sonny, but his actual name is Edgar Timmons Sr. And then he picked up the business and he mainly did oysters. Then in 2010, that's when my dad, Jerome Timmons, he started the business back up under the name Harris Neck Seafood.
The current company, forced to move from its original location during the government takeover, rests on a sliver of property the family once owned. Maya is the office secretary, filling orders from local restaurants and residents who've been patrons for generations. This is her inheritance, her goal to keep her family and community's legacy alive through her gift of drawing. You see, Maya is also a freelance illustrator who connects her culture through art. It's somewhat ironic, though, that she finds solace and is often inspired by frequent walks through her neighborhood to the Harris Neck National Wildlife Refuge, an area where those who came before her once thrived.
It's because we live on the coast, and like through the years, those blue crabs and those oysters is what, helped my family to survive all those years. In order, it gave jobs as well as, it put food on the table.
Though generations removed, for Maya, it's still a heavy burden to bear, imagining a world her ancestors were forced to leave behind.
There's a thought we always have is like, what, if it didn't happen, what would this community have actually look like? And so as time goes on, as people like my generation and, further move away, there won't be, Harris Neck, I'm getting a little sad.
But there are plants, which have coincidentally breathed new life and a new perspective into protecting history. Through the University of Georgia Sea Grant, Maya is showcasing native vegetation and its importance to Gullah Geechee culture by means of a coloring book.
In 2021, we joined that project and we were given the task to go out into the community and interview community members and family members, a part of the Gullah Geechee community, about plants. And then as we talked to our family members, they started remembering. My dad brought his first plant was Life Everlasting. And so from there, for our immediate family, we created a plant list. And then we started, branching out to other communities like Riceboro and Sapelo and going up to South Carolina. In the beginning, we're okay, well, how do we reach a younger audience? Because the ultimate goal of that project, which is the conserving ecologically and culturally important plants in coastal Georgia ecosystems, the main goal was to create a plant guide that will be freely available to the public, featuring these Gullah Geechee plants, with their common name to their scientific binomial, so that those plants can be conserved as well as the history of the plants could be preserved.
3 years ago, Maya created a 40-page publication, bridging the old Harris Neck with the new.
The book features 6 plants from the Gullah Geechee Plant Guide. Those 6 plants are deer tongue, Life Everlasting, mullein, sassafras, Spanish moss, and sweetgrass. I created personifications of each of those plants to help tell their story and or their uses. And for the character designs, I I kind of got like inspiration from like family members, like when it comes to like clothing and like just like the facial features and everything. For one character, his name is Papa Otis, and he's a fisherman. And that's like a direct tie to like my family and their background, with, dealing with, the seafood industry.
The books were distributed for free in area schools in hopes of educating the masses.
I guess my hope is to just, share the story of Harris Neck in my way, through my art. And like, while my family members are still here, let them be able to see it,
Today, Maya is putting the finishing touches on her latest project, a deluxe coloring and activity book about shellfish harvesting, paying homage to her family's legacy. Kim Gusby, WSAV News 3.
Maya's latest book will be available for purchase soon. You can also see her incredible work at the Tybee Island Marine Science Center, where she painted a mural featuring her family as sustainable fishermen as part of its Gullah Geechee exhibit. Maya was also recently awarded the Future Trailblazer Award by the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor during their second annual Gullah convening. That's a wonderful story. Happening now, it's a sweet celebration on Whitmarsh Island this weekend. Auspicious Baking Company is marking 1 year since opening the doors to their expanded location. Right in time for Valentine's Day, WSAV's Genevieve Lund is live at the bakery as they get ready for a very busy weekend. Genevieve, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Ben. I'm calling all the Valentine's Day lovers and the sweet treat lovers. We're here inside Auspicious Bakery, and behind me you can see they already have all their baked goods made for today. They've been up since 3 a.m. this morning making these, and they're about to put them out here for later today. I'm joined this morning by their baking manager, Jordan, who's going to tell us more about what's happening here right now behind us.
So we have finished our bake officially, and we are putting all of the items into the counter for retail sale. We open at 7 o'clock, so it's kind of crunch time right now.
It is crunch time. And how important is Valentine's Day compared to other holidays and days of the year for your business?
Absolutely. So, historically in the restaurant industry, cafe industry, the winter time is pretty slow once the holidays slow down. So this is a really good time to come out and support a local business.
What does it mean to have the community come support you during a weekend like this for a local business?
It's huge for us just to have the community come out and support us. As Mark and Katie say, we are a community-grown business, and without y'all's support, we wouldn't be able to continue.